My name is Elissa Shepard, and I'm a program manager here at Junior Achievement of Washington. We are so excited that you could join us this afternoon for our Lunch with Leaders series. Today, we have our Lunch with Leaders and our Business Hall of Fame attendees joining us today. Welcome, everyone. I will give a quick introduction, and then today's leader will share their story for about 15 minutes. And then we'll have 15 to 10 minutes of questions at the end. Please feel free to put your questions to me in the chat box, the host, during the session, and I will share them out with our leader later in the session. Our session today is generously sponsored by Bechtel. Bechtel is a trusted engineering, construction, project managing partner to industry and government. Since 1898, the company has helped customers complete more than 25,000 projects in 160 countries on all 7 continents. Bechtel serves the energy, infrastructure, nuclear, security, environmental, mining, metals, markets. Bechtel is a proud corporate supporter of Junior Achievement and its mission to support education, especially in science, technology, engineering, and math. Thank you, Bechtel, for your continued support. And with that, I'll hand it off to you, Cynethia.
Yes, thank you. And I want to send a warm welcome to all the students participating, all the teachers participating, and to the Business Hall of Fame members that are participating as well. I am very excited to share some of my work experiences, talk a little bit about the profession, maybe leave you with a few tips and ideas to consider as you go through your education and go on to college or into trades. You gave a great introduction about Bechtel. I'll just share a little bit more. The company's actually been around for 123 years. It is a privately owned company by a family. As Alyssa said, we are global. We have completed projects all over the country. And just to bring that a little bit home, we've worked on projects like the Hoover Dam. We've partnered with NASA to do launch facilities. We've worked on airports in Hong Kong, Las Vegas, and London City. And in Washington State, we actually worked on the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. That actually connected a peninsula with the main Washington State. It's the second suspense bridge there. And it also is the longest suspense bridge built in the US. I work at the waste treatment plant that is in Richland, Washington, the Tri-Cities. And to put that very plainly, we are working to convert nuclear waste into glass for safe storage. That's very plain. It's very complex, but that's the easiest way that it could just explain kind of what we're doing there. And Alyssa, you did mention the different business units that we have, but I'll give a little bit of background about the different units. This is something to consider if you're interested in things in this area. The first is energy. That's also oil and gas. So we work with customers to process or transfer or store various energy resources. So one of our customers is the Shell Oil Company. So you think of gas stations, right? And that's kind of in that arena. The infrastructure side has a lot of expertise in major motorways, railway systems, the airports, the bridges. And then mining and metals is where we work with our customers to produce every type of natural resource. So we're talking about aluminum, zinc, we're talking about green solutions and really turning that land back into its natural habitat after being used. And then that last one that was, I know it was a mouthful, Alyssa, but it was the nuclear security and environmental. And that is where we do partner with government. So the US government, we partner with them for environmental cleanup. That's what waste treatment plant does. Also military decommissioning, so breaking down some of the weapons. We also work with foreign governments to do supply chain management. And then we also work in nuclear power. So I know that was a mouthful, but the project that I work in is within that last business unit, the nuclear security and environmental. And when you think of these large construction projects, the bridges and the airports, a lot of times you do not think of the support services that are really critical for these projects to happen on time, within budget, and to meet customer needs and really community needs. And one of those support functions is accounting and finance, which partners up exactly with JA's purpose. And I have been in that field for over 13 years. Education-wise, I do have a bachelor's degree in accounting and finance. So for those of you who do want to go to university and colleges, that's about a 4 or 5 year program if you do that full time. And I actually got my master's in business administration. So that's about a year and a half full time. And so I just want to take this moment to do a quick plug for education, because education are keys to opportunities. And I know when we're young, a lot of times we think, will I ever use this? Why do I have to do that? I will tell you, I had no idea when I would use my master's degree after college, because I didn't know exactly where I was going to work or exactly what area within that industry I would work. But I tell you, it was a key to that opportunity for me to grow, for me to learn, for me to take advantage of different opportunities. And so I just want to stress that you should take that education and get all that you can in that, because you never know when you'll need that key to unlock that opportunity. So that's my little plug for education right there. But a lot of times when you think of accounting and finance, people think of math. And we do math, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. You will work with numbers, but we're not in calculus or geometry or algebra. We're more of knowing how to account for, report, and forecast financial and related financial information and transactions to support those business operations and why we do it the way we do. So that's just a little bit of exposure to the accounting and finance, not just math. And when you think about accounting, it's really kind of two-sided. You've got the public accounting. So you would work as a certified public accountant, either directly with the public to provide your accounting and finance expertise, or you could go to work for a company that hires certified public accountants and provides that same service to individuals or companies. An example of that, to just make it plain, adults in your family sometimes have to do that annual taxes, or you may know somebody in your family who has their own personal business and they need to go and get some financial advice about completing their records, doing their bookkeeping for their business, or filing those taxes. So if you were a certified public accountant, they could actually go to you and you could own your own business one day. Or they could go to a company and get those services done. The other side of accounting is managerial accounting. Similar purpose, you do want to provide your financial and accounting expertise, but you go to work for a company and you use that expertise to really help with those efficient, effective operations, financial reporting, compliance with laws and rules. And that's really the area that I have worked in. As far as my workforce experience, I started out as an accounting professional in our centralized accounting office. That's known as controller, the centralized accounting. And I just performed basic accounting roles. Our accounts payable, paying people and vendors for services they provided us or equipment we purchased. Accounts receivable or billing, so making sure that we're getting paid for the services and things that we provide. And from there, I went in to learn about ethics and compliance. So that was all about rules and regulations, but also working with people to help them understand how they should record their time for the hours they worked or any other questions that they had, and working with the government in this unit to make sure that we're compliant with the rules, expectations, and regulations they put out. From there, I was able to actually support directly our chief financial officer within our business unit. And this was a great opportunity. Here, I got to learn all about budgeting and forecasting and different disciplines and how we go and win work and how do we manage the budgets to do that. So just a lot of different experiences I got to learn through that role. And from there, the game changer, I was able to go out to the projects. So within finance, yes, I do make sure that invoices are paid and things are accounted for. But now I can see that bridge built. I can see that airport operate. I can see that huge melter equipment that's going to process waste put into place. And that really just excited me, just to be a part of those missions and not just be on the books and in the office, but actually go out and see what value we add to actually completing these major projects in the community. So it's just been really exciting to work in that field. If I had to just wrap up and kind of leave a couple of tips, and I know we got 15 minutes. It would be to not be afraid to explore your interests. High schoolers, middle schoolers, as you go up the ladder in education, there'll be opportunities to ask questions or do internships where you can get exposure to what that job might really be like. You can also listen to podcasts. There's a lot of podcasts by industry just to hear, okay, these are some of the things that they're talking about. This is some of the stuff I might deal with. These are some of the changes that are on the horizon. The other I would say is to be an inclusive leader. And I want to be clear that all of us are leaders. All of us influence people. And the culture now is really making people feel valued and really valuing that experience when they interact with you. Not what you did, but how you made them feel. So look into that and think about the things respect and collaboration and active listening. Those things are very important in the workplace. The last thing I would probably say is just be a lifetime learner. Sometimes you can get into a role, you can love it, and then you can just kind of get into a cadence. But there's always ways to learn. There's always additional certifications. There's organizations in the community. Part of this JA is an opportunity for me to learn and interact, right? And share what I have learned and also learn. It's a two-way street. So those are probably some tips I would say just to wrap it up there. And I look forward to hearing your questions.
Thank you so much. The first question is, what are some leadership qualities you are continuing to work on?
No, that's excellent. And I think that I'll piggyback on that inclusive leader. When you actually do get the title of being a supervisor or a lead, you actually learn more about how you get work done through people and not necessarily just yourself. And to do that, you've got to build those relationships, trust, respect, competence, sharing information, communication. And all of those I am learning to do and build those relationships more and more. I think I was a strong individual contributor, but there's so much more that can be done when you really create teams that like to work together, that know each other's strengths and weaknesses, that are okay to ask questions. They feel like it's a team and we all bring something to the table. So I just hone in on that. Building high performing teams is something that I am focusing on right now and trying to apply, because that atmosphere and that synergy that comes from people that get along and work well together, there's almost nothing they can't do. And so that is one area that I'm definitely working on.
Awesome. What's something you wish someone had told you during your career journey?
That's a really good question. I would say, when I came out of college and in school, a lot of times you're told, here's the curriculum, here's the path, here's what you have to do. And then you get into your career and there's not like a career curriculum per se. There's a lot of opportunities and people will say, what do you want to do? And often I would say, I don't know. So I wish that, as far as advice, maybe just letting me know kind of which in it, that it is this open world and the journey up to you. And there's a plethora of ways to get there. Many, many, many different ways. And don't limit yourself to think it has to be A, B, C, D. If you're that type of personality, it can go in so many different ways. And I think just being inquisitive and then being flexible to say, I didn't anticipate it going this way, but this opportunity actually adds to the whole journey. So I would say look at it as a journey, not necessarily a step-by-step or a guide that's going to exactly go. Be open and flexible, because you may go places that you didn't intend on, but they were actually perfect for you.
What soft skills would a high school student or a college student have to have in order to gain an entry position into Bechtel?
That's a great question. I do want to say, I know you said college students, but we also have a lot of trade professions and opportunities as well. So I just want to open it up there. But the soft skills, and I've talked a lot about that, but communication, listening and being able to communicate are very, very, very key. General respect, I would say, just the kind of work ethic and morals. Definitely those are some soft skills that are there. You may hear a term when you get out of high school and into the workforce or even in college, emotional intelligence. And that is just kind of being aware of different personality types, different work styles, different communication styles, and knowing personality styles, and knowing how to best communicate, work with those different personalities or types. So I would say that those would be a couple of the soft skills there.
How do you make room for continued learning while you're leading your team?
Yeah, no, that's an excellent question. Sometimes we feel like there's not enough hours in the day, but continuing learning is something that's very important to me, and I think that we need to be open to the different types. It's not just school, although you're probably very much used to that. Sometimes it's in the community, helping with projects, and you're learning that. Sometimes it's just joining a club where you are all sharing your experiences and your expertise. Um, and uh, so you just need to be, open to continuing that learning.
Awesome. How did you keep your team motivated despite the conflicts and obstacles this year has faced?
Yeah, no, that's an excellent question. It was definitely a shift when we had to kind of all acknowledge the pandemic and really take a look at our structure and see how we can continue to be effective and efficient in our operations. For me, we stood up kind of a weekly flow down, tag up session to just all make sure that we're aware of what's going on. We did more check-ins with the video. Our team even started celebrating birthdays where we would get on Zoom and just have do trivia or get to know one another. A lot of times we did get to know you questions at the beginning of each meeting. Kind of those wellness check-ins were very important. There were some dashboards stood up so we could acknowledge accomplishments. So I think all of those really helped us kind of come together. And we had very strong leadership that was transparent. A lot of times when there's changes going on, the first thing you're like is, okay, what are we doing? And you're looking at leadership, and they really stepped up at our project. And that was flowed down to me, and then I was able to share with my team.
What's a project that you were really proud of?
Well, I think that Bechtel has many. For me personally, on the accounting and finance side, I would say that one of my biggest ones that I was a part of probably was building a database to capture all types of information regarding the work that we go after. So our proposal work. We could see partners that we've worked with or other companies that we've worked with. We could see how much money we've spent. We could see the markets that we've been in. And I was actually able to participate on the team to build that out. And then we could use those reports to determine the future or predict the future or use that knowledge to see where we might want to go based on where we've been or technology changes. And that report really allowed all of our leaders to know where we're at, talk about new work, talk about new markets, new countries, and really see where we can add value and support our customers.
A question that came in is, who do you look up to for inspiration or mentorship?
Well, I have many mentors, and I am a fan of It Takes a Village. That is a very, very, very true statement. I would say, as far as folks that maybe inspire me, I look to those who have really stretched themselves in their arena or their industry. So in sports, Serena Williams, I follow her and I totally respect her and learn so much from just her story, her sister, her family, and how she's pushed herself to the top of her career. Michelle and Barack Obama, Kamala Harris. I mean, I just look up to several different leaders and how they've pressed themselves to be the strongest or the reach those kind of career heights, or that's the kind of stuff that I'm very interested in, and I get a lot of inspiration. But there's my mother and father. I learn a lot. I mean, there's still a lot to learn about your parents and people that you're around. If you just, as you grow older, you'll be more interested in it. Because I think you'll relate. But even just my mother and father, people that I've met, friends and family, I get a lot of inspiration from that.
How do you inspire others while keeping yourself inspired about your organization's mission?
And we have a mighty mission at our project, and I think that for me, I really try to really relate it to what we do. When you know how you fit in a mission and how valuable what you do contributes to its completion, it kind of drives that passion in you. And so what I do is I try to find out in different areas, where does our support role really play a role? And then sharing that with each person on the team that, yes, it might seem that you're doing interfacing with auditors and trying to make sure we're complying with rules, but that keeps us in business and that keeps our customer happy that we're using the funds or doing as they expect. It keeps the government happy, which uses taxpayer dollars from citizens, that we're doing as they expect. And that helps us get closer and closer to building a plant that will process this nuclear waste in the glass. So I really do think it's connecting what you do with the mission that drives that passion.
What resources would you suggest for new leaders?
Resources for new leaders. One I did mention was mentors, having people that you can talk to that have been leaders or been in certain roles, listening to the soft skills and the technical skills to see what you might want to learn more about, or what you might need, or what you might encounter. I would say that being in tune with different podcasts, and I keep saying that, there's a lot that's discussed on there that help even they have workplace podcasts. There's a podcast for everything now in the YouTube channel and all of that, where you can get advice or hear about some of the things that you may encounter in the accounting and finance arena. You can pay attention to the news. There's usually a financial section where you can kind of hear what's going on. There's the Wall Street Journal is a newspaper. That's all things accounting and finance, interesting articles about things. There is, I don't know if you've heard of NPR. They do broadcasts and podcasts that's specifically on finance and leadership in that role. And I can't stress enough the mentors. I just feel like having somebody to talk to give you advice, to bounce off feedback, and let you know areas you might want to work on or things you might want to do, it's vital.
So you speak a lot about mentors. How do you go about finding mentors or networking?
That's a great question. And there's various ways. And there's informal and formal. So we use the term mentor, but that's really somebody that you really just want to sit down and speak with about something. Maybe it's career-wise, maybe it's even personal-wise, but somebody who's willing to share their experiences with you, coach you, give advice to you, and receive it in a two-way. So you can go about that. Some companies, Bechtel has a formal mentor program, and it has evolved over time. So when you come in the door, we do focus on trying to get you a mentor or a buddy or somebody who's already been in your area, who has been with the company that you can talk to and ask all kinds of questions from, where's the bathroom, to how do I get on the Skype, to what are the different career paths in engineering or accounting, So some companies have that. Sometimes you may just meet somebody in the workforce or in the community that you say, gosh, that person really inspires me. I would love to have them coach me or talk with them. And you should feel comfortable in saying that. Sometimes people aren't available, so you don't take that personal, it's the timing, but sometimes people are. And you should be comfortable in talking and just asking, hey, would you mind if we get together? You don't have to use the formal term mentor if you don't want to, but I'd love to learn from you and share experiences. And that's an easy way to kind of bridge that conversation and consider getting a mentor that.
One of the last questions is, we talk a lot about continued learning. What do you consider before promoting someone in a position?
That's a good thing. I think it's two pronged, and there's probably several factors. But you have the performance side and kind of the technical expertise. So how is this person actually performing with the responsibilities and tasks that they're given? Are they exceeding those expectations? Are they meeting those expectations? Are they not? And do they have the technical expertise? I always like to make sure somebody has the training and the tools that they need. We don't want to set anybody up for frustration or failure. So to make sure that gap is bridged, sometimes we look at, okay, what training have they taken? Do they need more training? And then the other side is really that interaction with people. Are they able, because typically a promotion has more responsibility and more interface with different colleagues, different people that you might work with. And so we do want to make sure that you are exhibiting or you are doing behaviors that will help you be successful. So can you communicate, or is that something you struggle with? It doesn't mean you won't get promoted, but we might need to do some work there. Are you timely? Do you meet deadlines? Are you able to listen? If somebody says, this is what I need, actually kind of work with them to understand and make sure you understand what they need. So I think those are some of the things that we look for. And you have annual performance reviews. You will have that once you have a job, and those will be used as well as tools to help know if a promotion is the right step for you.
Okay, final question. What's been your favorite quarantine snack?
Well, favorite quarantine snack. I will say that during the change to teleworking, there's been a lot that goes on fast. So snack wise, anything I can grab, heat up, and I just so happen to have a snack, a fruit cup, anything that's fast. Those have become my kind of go-to snacks because I don't have the breaks of the prepared lunch. A lot of times I'm just kind of right here. Healthy snacks have become something important as we sit a lot. We're at our computers. So yeah, anything that I can easily eat quickly or have it just kind of right there is probably my go-to.
Well, thank you all for joining us this afternoon. And thank you, Cynethia, for your time and expertise, and Bechtel for your support for this program. I put a feedback survey in the chat box. Please take a few minutes to complete the survey to be entered into a drawing for a Starbucks gift card. To all our Business Hall of Fame attendees, we hope you enjoyed this session. Next up for you at 1:45, we'll have an interview with entrepreneurs, the Mosley family from Tacoma. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. Bye-bye.